Hey guys, welcome back to the show. If you would hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button so the algorithm takes us out there. In the meantime, we're going to watch some videos today on people that are broke and in some cases are retired and still having to work. Nobody likes seeing grandma or grandpa have to take a job at McDonald's. Anyway, let's hear what people are going through. And if you're going through a situation with finances and you care to share about it, let us know down in the comments below.
Is anyone else sick and tired of always feeling like you're living paycheck to paycheck and always being broke no matter how much you feel like you're cutting back or like budgeting for your groceries or your gas or whatever your extra spending? And it doesn't matter how much money you make because you always feel like if you make more money, you spend more money, which is probably true. But then you're just in this vicious cycle and you're like, wow, when is it ever going to end? It has to end. This economy's going to get better, right? And then boom, it doesn't. So here we are, broke.
Yeah, here's the crazy thing. On TikTok, a lot of people talk about how they make 80, 90, 150K a year, but I think the average person makes what, 35 to 40K a year? It's really tough to make ends meet.
I'm fucking cold. I'm really fucking cold, and it's crazy because I can't turn the heat on because I can't afford my fucking power bill if I do. So I'm just in here cold as shit. My feet are cold. My entire body's cold. I have low iron, and this is really not it for me. And I'm really tired of being poor because being poor means being uncomfortable, and I can't even be warm in my own fucking apartment that I can't even afford. I fucking hate it here. I'm tired of being cold. I'm going insane.
So have you done that? I've done that before where, money was so tight, you would try to put the air conditioning on as little as possible. In her case, she's probably trying to bundle up in clothing and blankets rather than turning the heater on. Whenever your utility bill makes it where you're going broke, you gotta do something. So if you've done this before, you know what she's going through.
Hi, my name is B, and I have autism. And I am a part of the small minority of autistic people who work a full-time job. But I'm getting to a point where I don't think that that's really a reality for me anymore. It's getting to the point where every single day, all I do is answer the phone. Every single day, after 8 hours of talking to people, all I can do is cry and shut down and be nonverbal, which then means the next day when I try to go back into work, I'm having the same issue. I've had to call out of work multiple times, even over the small period of time I've had this job. And it just gets to a point where I don't know if this will ever stop. And I think I'm hurting myself by refusing to believe that I just am too disabled to do these types of jobs. And I just want to know if any other autistic people relate, because at this point I'm feeling alone and defeated.
It's tough when you're used to having communication issues with people and all of a sudden you're in a job that you have to talk to people 40 hours a week. I think what she needs is just a couple days off, maybe a mini vacation. But if you got to pay the bills, you might not even be able to afford a day off.
So, if you're anything like me, just a normal person with a normal job in this shit ass economy that can't afford anything these days except your bare necessities, then you've slacked on paying some of your bills. And that's okay. This is a no judgment zone because I haven't paid all my bills either. And I'm really slacking, especially on my credit card bills. And I'm going to keep it real. I don't give a shit about shit I bought last year or 6 months ago or when I swiped the credit card. I don't fucking care. Thanks for letting me have that stuff. I don't have the money to pay you back right now. So I used to be really religious with this. Like I would send a set amount of money each month and just auto pay the credit card so it would keep my balance down, so that I didn't fall behind. Well, about 7 months ago, I took it off auto pay. And for about 6 months religiously now, like every day, multiple times a day, they're calling to get their money. We all got a job to do, and I know that you're tired of dialing my fucking number and I'm not picking up the phone. So I accidentally answered one of their calls in the car the other day. My car hooks to my phone, so if you hit a button on the steering wheel, then it automatically answers. And it was Teresa from, Credit One or Capital, one of those that I have. And she goes, "Hi, this is Teresa, and I'm calling for Brandy. I'm from the credit card service." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to answer this phone call. Like, I'm really sorry about that. I don't have your money." Like, this bitch, she goes, "Well, we're like 2 steps away from sending you to collections, and that's really going to affect your credit." Teresa, do you not know that also not paying your credit card bill plummets your fucking credit? You might as well take my credit score out back and fucking put it out of its misery, Teresa. Do you also realize that right now, my credit score means absolute fuck all nothing to me? Like, do I look like I'm buying a house? Do I look like I'm buying a car? Does it look like I can afford to buy anything ever?
So this is one of the things that I did when I was younger. I got a couple credit cards. All of a sudden, before I knew it, I was behind in payments. And all of a sudden, I threw my hands up in the air and just didn't pay. And it ended up leading to a snowball situation. And then, right when it was like a couple months from being legally charged off my credit, they ended up wage garnishing me. It was like, what a nightmare. So sometimes people get lucky and those bills never catch up to them. But I'm telling you, sometimes those bills do catch up to you, and it's really a distress when they actually start wage garnishing you. So you got to be careful when you just let your bills snowball.
Ever again. Teresa, I'm going to save us both the time here. Just send it to collections now, because between now and next month, when you keep trying to call me, nothing's going to change. I don't know what to tell you. And it's going to sit in collections too. I really, like, food, house payment, car payment, insurance, medicine, clothes, bare necessities. That's all I got the money for right now.
Wait a minute, are clothes bare necessities? More than likely, you already have some clothes and there are thrift shops. I think she should really rethink this before she just decides not to pay her bills. But at the same time, I've been there, and you know what? I made the same decision she did.
It's kind of irritating when people will be like, oh, well, just save up for it. Just, oh, you want to go on that vacation? Just save up for it. It's fine. Just start saving. It's like, bitch, I literally don't even make enough money to pay my bills. And every time I pay my bills, I'm in the negative. I make pretty good money, okay? And I pay my bills, and I literally don't make enough to get to work. I don't make enough to get gas. I have to ask my husband for gas money every 2 weeks. I'm literally struggling. I have negative $65 in my account right now.
So here's the bummer. She's got a partner and her husband, right? They both make pretty good money, yet she still finds herself with $65 in her account right now. What always bums me out is even when I had times in my life where I was making good money, but I still happened to be broke, you go on Facebook, right? And every single one of your friends on Facebook is going on these lavish vacations to Disneyland and Hawaii and Europe, right? And it makes you feel like you're not successful, like you're a failure, simply because you're not putting a vacation on your credit card, which a lot of people on Facebook probably are.
And when I get paid, that $65 will go back up to zero, and then I will have to pay the mortgage and daycare and phone bill, and I'm gonna have like $200 left. So I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck, drowning, and people are like, oh, just save your money. My Nana's always like, just put away 20% of your paycheck. I can't do that. So I failed my medical coding exam by 10 points. In order to retake it, I have to like redo my registration and pay $300 and retake it.
So this is what happens with stress. Things start to snowball. Now she failed this test. She's got to come up with $300 to retake it. Everyone, including Nana, is telling her to save, 20% of her paycheck, and it's just not happening for her. It's literally impossible. If you've been there, let us know.
So I'm like, oh, I'll just save the money, right? To $300. How the fuck am I supposed to save $300 to retake that exam when I can't even pay my bills as it is with the money I make now? Like, it's pretty bad that like you live paycheck to paycheck as it is, and that doesn't even include like, what if something happens to my car and I need to buy parts for it? Or what if like the electric bill goes up by $20? Or what if like, I don't know, daycare gets more expensive, or I lose hours at work, or like, I am literally drowning as it is, and if there's any deviance from where I already am, I'm fucked. And then shit like this happens where I need to go pay for my second exam, and I'm like, I can't even fucking pay for it. I can't even save $300. And then I have family members out of state who are like, oh, come visit. And I'm like, they're like, just save up a little money, get a plane ticket. I can't save for a plane ticket. Like, I can't even get enough money for fucking groceries in my house. Never mind buying a plane ticket to go stay out of state somewhere in a hotel that costs money.
Have you guys seen how expensive daycare costs are? And they go up every 6 months like clockwork. One of the things that she said happened to me where all of a sudden I was $65 in the negative in my bank account. This was many years ago. And you know what the bank did? And this was way back then, so it's probably even worse now. They ended up charging me a $35 insufficient fund fee on top of things. So where she thinks she's got a $65 negative account balance, those are the things that all of a sudden you go to pay a bill because you put in $100 in there to cover that, right? You go to pay a bill and then it bounces again because you find out they charged you for insufficient funds and all of a sudden you have less money than you thought.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no room for fun in this type of life. It's just survival mode. And it kills me that there are people out there that don't understand it, and I just wish they could, because it hurts when they try to tell me, like, save your money, be better with your money. And I'm like, I'm just paying my fucking bills. That's all I've ever done.
You know what's really tough about this? She's going to probably end up divorcing her husband because that's what happens to young couples when they start to get stressed out with money. They start to blame one another. One comes across as selfish, the other comes across as like nagging all the time. Before you know it, they'll be trying to go for a divorce.
Well, we just had to move the last $100 out of our savings account because our cell phone bill came out a little early. Anybody else in this boat? This living paycheck to paycheck life it's not it. It's just not it. I'm at the point where I'm either just going to rob a bank or start selling pictures of my body. I mean, there has to be a niche of people who like mom bods, right?
Did you ever have that situation where you knew your cable bill or your cell phone bill was coming out and you didn't have that money? So maybe you go and borrow from your folks. Maybe you get paid just in the nick of time to go put that money in your account to beat that withdrawal. Because if that withdrawal gets there, then all of a sudden you get that insufficient funds fee again. And this happens to poor people with regularity. This is why they never end up catching up. This is why people suggest if you can just save $1,000, it won't happen to you. And I know you're thinking that's impossible, Jesse, but that's why they tell you try to do it whatever way you have to. Okay, this one says, any other middle-aged ladies having a hard time entering back into the workforce? I can't help but feel age discrimination. So if you're retired and you need to go back to work to make a little bit of extra money, you're going to probably find, like a lot do, that your age might feel like a hindrance to you. No one will admit it, but it looks like it is for a lot of people re-entering the workforce.
I've not gone on a vacation in my adulthood for me, except one time right after college. I went out to Hawaii with my roommate from college. But even then, that was paid for by my mother, so I've never actually paid for a vacation on my own. And as you know, I had to put my dog down, if you've seen that video. So that was $300. I had to get new tires for my car, just two, so that was another $300. And then I finally got a bill for my HVAC guy. That's another $300. I don't make enough. I'm paycheck to paycheck as it is. I don't make enough to put things away for me to enjoy it in any foreseeable future. So what I do with a little bit of money that I have is buy dumb stuff that brings me a little bit of joy.
Now, wait a minute. Have you seen the price of the Star Wars Legos when you go into Target or Walmart? Those are expensive toys. Like literally, I think they're in the $200 plus range. That might not be the best way to spend your little bit of extra money you do have, sir.
And I'm so tired, particular age group of people, we all know, that are like, oh, well, quit buying that stuff. And I'm like, I already don't do anything. Like, I play video games and I sit in my house because I can't afford to go do anything. Like, so far this year, this summer, I went to Marengo Cave, which is like an hour and a half from here. And it was fun, it was cool, but I want to go out and explore places, see things, and I just can't. And I know a lot of this is coming back to my job, and I think this is the year I have to make the decision, because I've not gone anywhere with my pay in 10 years. So
That is foul. Why do teachers get paid so poorly at different areas around the country? I say that because occasionally you'll find areas where they do get paid handsomely. In the past, I felt like a lot of us were coupled up, right? You would pay for half the bills and your partner would help you with the other half of the bills. And back then, people made enough money over the bills where sometimes one of the two partners didn't even have to work. But this poor guy, I'm thinking he probably is a bachelor and he has to kind of pay 100% of his bills on his own. Maybe this is the world's way of pushing us back into having couples out there. But this time, instead of a couple situation where one person pays for everything and the other takes care of the apartment or the home, maybe it's going to be one of those situations where it's actually a team. And that's probably the way it should be.
So I've got to make the decision if I'm going to keep doing it. And it kind of kills me a little bit. Like I'm supposed to be a teacher. I know that. But the way that things are going, anywhere I go, it's going to be the same thing.
A lot of teachers are leaving the profession because they have to try to make more money. And for whatever reason, like this guy said, could you imagine working as a teacher for 10 years and your income isn't really popping up to keep ahead of inflation?
Yeah, we all need to be concerned, and you all need to be concerned as younger Americans. It is very easy to have a good job and end up in my predicament at my age, which is 59, where you don't have any savings to retire and it's a struggle to pay bills. And considering that a bag of chips is as much as an hour minimum wage pay is pretty messed up.
It really is, and it's too bad that our retired folks who should be enjoying their latter years are actually having to go back to work. With that being said, some of our successful retirees actually do enjoy going back to work because many people think retirement is somewhat boring. I'll tell you what's not boring, watching videos with you guys. Maybe you guys feel differently, but I like watching videos with you, and I hope you guys come again tomorrow. We'll watch some more. I'll see you then.